Right now, somewhere outside your window, there is a bird looking at you. Maybe it is a crow sitting on a telephone wire. Maybe it is a pigeon on the ledge across the street. Maybe it is a sparrow on your windowsill. It is watching you the way birds always watch humans, with those sharp, unblinking, ancient eyes that give away absolutely nothing. And here is the question that nobody ever thinks to ask in that moment. What is going through that bird's mind? What does it actually think about you? Does it think about you at all? We spend so much time watching birds. We study them. We photograph them. We build feeders to attract them. But almost nobody ever flips the question around. What does the bird see when it looks back at us? What does it actually think about you, specifically, as an individual? The answer is going to make you deeply uncomfortable. In the best possible way. Birds do not just see us. They study us. They remember us. They judge us. They form opinions about specific humans that last for years. They communicate those opinions to other birds. And they act on everything they have learned about you with a precision and consistency that most people would never expect from an animal the size of your fist. This is what birds actually think of humans. Let us start with the most fundamental question. Can birds even tell humans apart? Do we all look the same to them, just large threatening bipedal mammals, or do they actually distinguish between individual faces the way we do? In 2008, a researcher at the University of Washington named John Marsloff designed one of the most elegant experiments in behavioral science. His team trapped wild crows on campus while wearing a specific rubber caveman mask. Slightly threatening looking, heavy brow, broad face. The trapping was harmless but stressful for the crows. Being caught, banded, and released is not a pleasant experience. And the crows remembered exactly who did it to them. When the researchers later walked the same campus routes wearing the caveman mask but doing nothing threatening, just walking, the crows went absolutely wild. They dive-bombed the mask wearers. They screamed alarm calls. They followed researchers across campus for hundreds of meters, recruiting other crows to join the harassment. All of this while completely ignoring researchers walking the same routes wearing different masks or no masks at all. The crows remembered the specific face that had captured them. Months later, they had a grudge. And they were organized about it. But here is where it gets truly remarkable. Marsloff repeated this experiment over multiple years and found that the number of crows responding aggressively to the caveman mask actually increased over time even as the original trapped crows aged. New crows. Young crows. Crows that were not even alive during the original trapping, responding to the mask with the same hostility as the birds who had been there. The information was being transmitted across generations. Mother crows teaching their chicks which face to watch out for. Experienced crows passing threat warnings to younger flock members. A single human face had entered crow cultural memory and was being handed down like a story. Like a warning. Like history. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere in Seattle right now there are crows who have never met John Marsloff but know his face is dangerous. Because their grandmother told them. And crows are not alone in this. Magpies recognize and remember individual humans who have threatened them. Mockingbirds, according to research in the journal PNAS, specifically target people who previously came too close to their nests, while completely ignoring other humans walking the same path. And pigeons, the birds we dismiss as flying rats, can distinguish between individual human faces with an accuracy rate of over 80% in experimental settings. Better than many facial recognition software systems tested a decade ago. Birds are not experiencing us as a uniform background presence. They know you personally. They have an opinion about you specifically. The question is, what kind of opinion have you earned? What birds do with that information about specific humans falls into two dramatic categories. They hold grudges. And they give gifts. Let us start with the grudges because the crow research is only the beginning of that story. Crows and ravens have been documented holding grudges against specific humans for up to 5 years in controlled settings, and possibly much longer in wild populations. These are not vague negative associations. They are specific, targeted, and actively maintained over years without any reminder of the original incident. There are documented cases of mail carriers being targeted by crows for entire years after one incident involving a nest. Children who threw stones at crows being dive-bombed on their walk to school every single morning for a full school year. The crow remembers. The crow is patient. And these birds live for 15 to 20 years. Get on the wrong side of a crow at 30 and it may still know your face when you are 50. Now the gifts. Because this is the part of the story almost nobody knows about, and it is the most moving part of all. There is a girl in Seattle named Gabby Mann who has been feeding crows in her garden since she was 4 years old. She drops food for them carefully and consistently, the same way every day. And over the years, the crows have started leaving things for her in return. Small objects placed carefully in the bird feeder after her visits. A broken piece of mirror. A small screw. A button. A pearl bead. A tiny piece of metal with the word best on it, half of a best friend's charm. Gabby keeps these gifts in a special cataloged box. She has dozens of them. Ornithologists who have examined this case note that the placement of objects specifically in the feeder, the exact location where Gabby leaves food, is consistent with intentional gifting behavior. The crows know where the generosity comes from. They are putting something back in the same place. Whether that is a gift in a fully human sense, science cannot say for certain. But it cannot say it is not either. Similar cases have been documented in England, Japan, and across North America. A woman in England finding small objects near her magpie feeding spot. A Japanese researcher reporting identical behavior from campus crows after years of feeding them. Birdwatchers around the world noticing shiny objects appearing near feeders after building long-term relationships with local corvids. What is clear from all of these cases is that corvids track which humans have been generous to them and respond to that generosity in ways that go beyond simple habituation. They are not just getting used to you. They are responding to you. They are engaging with you. They are, in some meaningful sense, in a relationship with you. A relationship with its own rules, its own history, and apparently, its own gestures of appreciation. Which brings us to the most contested and fascinating question of all. Do birds actually feel emotions about specific humans? Not just behavioral responses. Not just conditioned reflexes. Genuine emotional states, fear, anger, affection, something that functions like love. The scientific answer, carefully worded but increasingly clear, is yes. Birds experience emotional states. And those states are directly influenced by their interactions with specific individual humans in ways that mirror, at a functional level, how emotions work in us. Crows that fear a specific person show measurable physiological stress responses, elevated heart rate, elevated cortisol, specifically in that person's presence, while showing completely normal baseline physiology around everyone else. The crow's nervous system has encoded you as a threat and activates that encoding reliably the moment you appear. That is not a generalized anxiety. That is a targeted feeling directed at you personally. On the other end of the emotional spectrum, Alex the African gray parrot, who we met in our first video, showed consistent behavioral preferences for Dr. Pepperberg over all other lab staff across 30 years of interaction. He performed better in cognitive tests when she was present. He showed behavioral distress during her extended absences. He sought out physical proximity to her when he had no practical need to. These are attachment behaviors. The behaviors of an animal that has formed a genuine social bond with a specific person. And Alex was not unique. Researchers working with hand-raised corvids, ravens and crows raised from chicks by human caretakers, consistently document the development of strong individual attachments. Proximity seeking. Preferential attention. Distress on separation. Apparent pleasure in the company of one specific person over all others. The birds choose certain people. Not because those people feed them. Because those people matter to them. Whether that constitutes love in the philosophical sense, science cannot fully answer that. But it constitutes something. Something real. Something that shapes behavior the way emotions shape behavior. Something the bird, on some level, experiences. In part 2, we go even deeper. We find out that birds are actively conducting behavioral research on you right now, studying your eye movements, modeling your intentions, and thinking about what you might be thinking. And we find out what happens when someone a bird loved is suddenly gone.